KPBS On Demand is supported by the Del Mar Wine and Food Festival, September 10th through the 14th. Created in partnership with Alex Morgan, Drew Brees, and Rob Machado. Hosted by Food Network's Troy Johnson. A celebration of SoCal culture, cuisine, and community. General and VIP tickets at delmar.wine.
Good morning, I'm Lawrence K. Jackson. It's Friday, August 15th. Governor Gavin Newsom is moving forward with his redistricting efforts for California. More on that next, but first, the headlines. The Midway Rising project has hopes of uplifting the region's local economy. The $3.9 billion project will replace San Diego's sports arena site and is expected to have a financial impact similar to that of Comic-Con. According to the San Diego Union Tribune, in total, it's projected to produce $178 million in new spending per year. The project is currently in the last leg of the environmental review process and is hoping to finalize a lease with the city by end of this year. It could take up to 14 years until it's completed. A gradual cooling is expected to continue for the next couple of days across parts of the county, with temps dropping anywhere from 8 to 12 degrees below average. Weather aside, though, the Padres are coming in hot and radiating heat at a perfect time. They stand alone at first place in the NL West Division after toppling the Giants 11-1 on Wednesday. They now hold a one-game lead over the Dodgers as they face each other in a very timely weekend series. With the game today, Saturday, and Sunday in Los Angeles and the NL West up for grabs, it should be a passionate series to say the least. This Sunday is National Thrift Store Day, a day to celebrate the act of thrifting. Benefits include reduced costs, pushing back against overconsumption, less stress on our environment, and of course, unique vintage finds. Many national thrift stores like Goodwill and Salvation Army are running promotions with special discounts and giveaways. As well as some smaller stores like Home Start's Thrift Boutique in Normal Heights. They'll be hosting a weekend-long celebration with each purchase supporting their maternity housing program for at-risk families. Shopping aside, it can also be a great time to take a moment, grab some of those gently used items you know you haven't worn in years, and donate them. From KPBS, you're listening to San Diego News Now. Stay with me for more of the local news you need.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rachel Jans, Associate Curator of Modern and Contemporary Art at the San Diego Museum of Art. We're presenting a landmark exhibition of Eduardo Chillida, a visionary sculptor who transformed the way we think about form, space, and material. Eduardo Chillida Convergence is the most expansive U.S. presentation of the artist's work in nearly 50 years, bringing together monumental sculptures, delicate works on paper, and a virtual reality experience of his iconic Comb of the Wind installation on the Basque coast of Spain. Eduardo Chillida Convergence is on view now through February 8th, 2026 at the San Diego Museum of Art in Balboa Park. Learn more at sdmaart.org.
A decision to redraw California's congressional maps may fall to the state's voters in November. Gavin Newsom announced yesterday plans to help win 5 additional seats for Democrats in 2026. Reporter Jacob Ayer says the move is a direct response to a similar Republican-led effort in Texas, backed by President Trump.
California Governor Gavin Newsom announced plans for a November 4th special election alongside other Democratic leaders in Los Angeles.
We're asking the voters for their consent to do midterm redistricting in 2026, 2028, and 2030 for the congressional maps.
Republican State Assembly member Carl DeMaio called the move unconstitutional.
We fully expect to square off with him in court.
Californians authorized the creation of the Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission in 2008. Southwestern College political science professor Phil Sines says the special election would be a really interesting test for Democrats.
To see whether or not they can convince enough voters, first of all, to turn out and also to vote against what they previously had voted in favor of, and that is having citizens redraw the boundaries.
California lawmakers are expected to vote next week on new maps and declaring the special election. The Assembly Republican Caucus estimates the special election would cost taxpayers more than $235 million. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
The Encinitas City Council is moving ahead with 2 homeless-related proposals. Reporter Alexander Wen says the proposals would expand the city's ban on camping outdoors or sleeping in vehicles overnight.
The first proposal struck the words "at night" from the city's ordinance banning camping on private property to cover daytime camping. The other proposal expands the city's ban on sleeping in cars from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. Previously, the ban was in effect from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Not everyone was on board. Resident Beth Whitaker was among those opposed.
These proposals may look good on paper, sound impressive on the morning news, and offer ego-stroking sound bites, but they do nothing to address the root causes of homelessness, economic inequity and hardship, or community safety.
The proposals were put forth by Councilmember Jim O'Hara. He says they were meant to help deputies better enforce ordinances that are already on the books. Staff will now draft the ordinance and bring it back to the council for approval at a later date. Alexander Nguyen, KPBS News.
After almost 9 months away, the aircraft carrier Carl Vinson returned to San Diego yesterday. The carrier left port in November, and this spring its deployment was extended. The ship went to the Middle East where it supported operations against Houthi rebels in Yemen. Jasmine Beneventi's husband is a sailor on the Carl Vinson. The couple welcomed their 7th child while he was away.
I've learned not to worry about things. To be honest, this deployment, I would constantly watch the news, but just immediately pray, and just try not to worry about it.
2 other ships from the Vinson's battle group also had homecomings this week. The cruiser USS Princeton and destroyer USS Sterrett both returned Wednesday. Next week, La Jolla Playhouse will unveil its latest world premiere musical, The Heart. Arts reporter Beth Accomando takes us behind the scenes to discover how a play about a human heart came to life.
Human organs aren't usually the leading character in a play, making La Jolla Playhouse's The Heart the exception that proves the rule.
Yes, this is a world premiere musical which takes place during 24 hours in the life of a heart.
Christopher Ashley is the artistic director at La Jolla Playhouse. He's been guiding The Heart through its long evolution.
The 2 composers, Ian and Ann Eisendrath, and I started out about a decade ago working on a musical about a heart transplant based on different source material.
But composer Ian Eisendrath says the focus was all wrong.
Because the story began with a heart recipient waking up from surgery, but, that is sort of the other end of the journey, and as always in life, the journey continues, but we realized we were really missing the real conflict that leads to the resolution of a heart beating in somebody else's body who would have otherwise not lasted very long on this earth.
That's when book writer Kate Kerrigan suggested a French novel called Men the Living, says Ashley.
This is a beautiful, warm, deep, extraordinary, moody, electric story about 24 hours in the life of a heart.
And we realized, oh my gosh, this book ends exactly where our other show started. And because this show has so many more perspectives, it's basically anybody that has agency with the heart, from the parents to all the medical team that are so invested in not only this person's life, they have all these people around the world that need these organs, and it's a pretty crazy roller coaster relay race.
But definitely, it's got a time clock on it, right? Like we have to get this transplant accomplished in a given amount of time. So the pressure on the parents to decide whether or not to donate their son's organs, really moments after they discover that he's in a coma, the whole thing is under the pressure of that clock.
7 a.m. Shift change.
Which is great for a musical. Really, it really organizes the time in a beautiful, beautiful way.
The human heart also provides the play with its musical pulse, says composer Ann Eisendrath.
We started in on the project, and I was like, well, what if we use electronic music to tell this story? A heartbeat is a kick drum in a way. It's that 4 on the floor, 120 BPM right inside of us.
Most people's heart rate is like 65 or 70, but yours is 60. And this beat is 120 BPM. Double your heart rate.
And the heart is central to our culture, says Ashley, who's also directing the play.
It's hard to talk about it without making a metaphor or a simile about, let's put more heart into it as in rehearsal. But there's also something about like the idea of when someone's been injured, the generosity of donating your organs so that other people can have further and better lives.
Which Ann Eisendrath says makes the show feel timely.
I think it's a time when people are feeling really helpless right now with what's going on in the world. And I think one of the messages of this story is that everybody can make a positive difference. On a small level, it's telling the story of a greater story of how we all make a difference and we all keep everybody going and life moving ahead.
Again, Christopher Ashley.
It's a great moment to tell a story about taking care of each other. It's such a divided time that to tell a story about how we're all interconnected and the ways in which we all have responsibilities to care for each other it's a satisfying story to tell right this minute.
Ashley and his team are racing their own clock to make the final tweaks before The Heart makes its world premiere next week. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
The Heart makes its world premiere on Tuesday at La Jolla Playhouse. That is it for the pod today. This podcast is edited by Brooke Ruth. This podcast is hosted and produced by me, Lawrence K. Jackson. As always, you can find more San Diego news online at kpbs.org. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.
KPBS On Demand is supported by the San Diego County Toyota dealers, offering a new 2025 lineup of vehicles at your local Toyota dealer, including a new Tacoma with turbocharged 4-cylinder engines and a hybrid powertrain option. The San Diego County Toyota dealers. We make it easy.